think it's very easy to get lost in the idea of you're caring for a person, but one of the things that is more useful is to think of yourself as a supporter for that person. Yes, you have to be there to care when something's gone wrong. For example, when Judith has a seizure, she needs a carer. But the rest of the time, she needs a supporter, somebody who will stand up for her even when she's not feeling great and go, no, she can't do that, or she will do that. And if Judith can't do it, then it has to be me. It's impacted every part of our lives because we've had both ups and downs. We had a period of time just after Judith's diagnosis where Judith had quite regular seizures, and then medication kicked in and helped a lot with that, and things calmed down. We had a period from about 2015 to 2016 where everything was in the clear and everything was good, and so dealing with it at that point was just a case of, well, we know she has a cavernoma. If anything happens and we have to have an MRI, then we know what to tell the doctor. You know, don't worry if you see this, or this, it's fine. And then things kind of went downhill from there, where Judith started having seizures at work. She started having more regular seizures at home. That has been the primary thing that we've had to deal with day to day. So first of all, learning how to deal with the seizures myself, because obviously I'm normally the one that's around, trying to teach others how to deal with them, getting used to all the different variations of seizures that Judith has, the impact it's had on her employment, where some of them have been great, some of them have been less than impressive, and her current employer is absolutely fantastic. They've really bent over backwards to help out. For day-to-day stuff, it's more, we always have to have a plan B for everything we do. So if we are planning to go away somewhere or planning to do something, we need to be aware of where's the nearest place we can park, how easy it is to get from where we are to back to a car to get us back to safety. It may not seem like much, but for example, sitting in a restaurant, Judith can't sit in the corner, because if she sits in the corner and something happens, you ain't getting out of there without moving the whole table, which just causes all kinds of problems for the rest of the restaurant. She needs to be somewhere where it's easily accessible. And those are the kinds of things that, you know, we find ourselves thinking about, but nobody else really thinks about it or worries about it. Judith tells me off because I tend to overplan those things. And so I follow the thing of, because my background is in telecoms, I tend to follow the PACE acronym, which is basically primary, alternate, I can't remember the C one because I always get that wrong, and emergency. And basically, every single time we go out somewhere, you have those. And if the emergency is just we have to go home or call an ambulance, that's what you do. If the alternate is we're late to the event, we're late to the event. That's meh. It's about making sure that if something does happen, you do need to support that person a bit more. What are you going to do to support them? Are you going to help them? Just sit with them, talk to them a bit more, go with them to the medical appointments, because that's an important one. It's the most stressful part of all of this, is even just sitting waiting to speak to a doctor. Even if you come out of it and nothing's changed, your meds remain the same, everything else is the same, the fact that you have to go in and explain to a doctor where you are, often it's difficult. Like in Judith's case, she can't tell the doctor how often the seizures happen. She's not aware of it. She doesn't know that that's what's happened. Making sure that you're available if something happens so that you can help them is very, very important, because more often than not, the primary concern Judith will have is, if something happens, is there somebody here who can help me? And if there isn't, what's going to happen? And that can be reduced by me just being within eyesight, or me being in the room, me being in the event, or something like that. They're very selfish things, cavernomas, I've discovered. Very, very selfish. They like to make your life all about them. They're not that important. Most of the time, unless they're being horrible, they're not that important. There are things you can do to make life a bit easier, and things you have to come to accept. Like, you can't go to everything, you can't do everything, but you can do a majority of them. You don't have to say no to something just because. You can say yes and not be afraid to go, but within this criteria. We may only come for 2 hours. We may only be there for a short period of time. I think for people who are caring for others, the difficult part is sometimes you think afterwards, why did that need to happen? It didn't need to be like that. Well, not like somebody can plan that. You can't plan illness. In the same way you can't plan an illness, you can't plan a bad day with a cavernoma or a good day with a cavernoma. It is what it is, and that the simplest thing is to just come to that realization sooner rather than later, because it helps. And the other really important thing that we've found with cavernoma is fight for what you need to happen. If you need the support, if you have a doctor who turns around, oh, cavernomas don't do anything, find another doctor. Stop talking to the doctor who isn't going to help you. Find one who will. You're entitled to do so under the NHS, so do it. It's something that CAUK can help direct. This is the process you need to go through to do it. It's a reoccurring joke that, oh, it's not very manly if you needed help to do something. Not really. It's not seeking help just leaves you worse off. It leaves you angry. It leaves you finding it difficult to cope and puts you down a bad path that you don't need to go down, because the reality is the help's right there. And there are two very important points I would make. One is you have to be able to help yourself. People don't know what they need to provide you with help with if you don't say something. People don't just walk around with MRIs in their hands going, that person's got a cavernoma. I didn't know Bob had a cavernoma. I'll go over there and offer him some help. If you didn't ask for it, you aren't going to get it. And with any health condition, you have to go and ask for it. And you should, regularly as you can, because there's no harm in it. There's no problem with it. There's no error in that. There's no weakness to be shown in it. And I think it's important particularly for some men, to realize that you can ask for the help, and you can ask for it from another man. You can, if that's what you needed to do to get the help, then do it. It's not wrong to talk about your feelings. It's not wrong to say, I'm not having a good day today. Granted, as my experience will be, that you will end up with a bunch of people trying to send you messages with jokes in them to try and get you to feel better. But it's important to seek help when you need it. I think outside of that, you need to understand that you need to look after yourself first and foremost, even if that means taking a break occasionally, which can be as simple as, Judith sitting downstairs watching TV. She's in the house, she's safe. I can go upstairs and play on a computer game in my case, or go and watch something somewhere else, or sit and watch. Ideally, what we tend to find is easier to find a series we want to watch together, and we'll sit and watch. It might not be the most perfect thing that I'd pick to watch or Judith would pick to watch, but by having that, it's a break that we can have together, because particularly as husband and wife, the important part is to make sure that we're in this together, and just to not think of it only as a carer and carey relationship, because that's not what it is, and it shouldn't become that either. It's whatever relationship you had before, still there, still exists. It's just that sometimes you have to step up and look after that person a little bit more.